Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Good morning, my lovely people. Look at me, Shell. I'm on camera. I was like, I'm not going on camera. I feel like hell today. I have a headache today. It went away, though. I took the dogs for a walk, and all is good. Hopefully, I'm unmuted. Yes, I am. Good morning. Good morning. And I love FriJAY because I can take my time. We can take a deep breath, and we can just get through the live. No pressure, just me and you guys. So good morning. And I can say hello to everyone, and I don't feel rushed. Good morning, globalism. Globalism is our winner of the Super Chat Christmas sweater. I can say that with 100%. One-Eyed Flo, you are the winner of the membership gifter. So we've got two wieners in chat. You're so sweet, Potato. Hello, Potato. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Melissa B. and Punani Queen. Patrick Forsyth, where have you been? I have missed you, Patrick. Hello, hello. Good morning, Jammers. Good morning, Marie. Good morning, Flo. Thank you guys for your support. Globalism and One-Eyed Flo are wieners. Next FriJAY is your birthday, Dandy. Yay! I'll be announcing the donator winners probably in the next day or two. I have to get in there and look and get everything up, but I can say without a doubt that globalism and One-Eyed Flo are the winners, the wieners. So thank you so much, guys, for participating. Hey, Shell. I'm glad you're back, Patrick. You've been missed. Good morning, Kendi. You guys have been busy over in Discord. I'm so sorry I can't always catch up in the Discord. Hi, Maple. Who else did I miss? Paul Clinker. Oh, I gotta get my sound bites up. Hold up. I did a restart last night on my computer. I thought my computer was acting funny, but it's YouTube. So you guys, get this. So YouTube, I had 200 and some odd views on a video that's unpublished that I just uploaded that no one's even watched. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then yesterday, all my views were off too. Like, I got off my stream and I had like some weird like 80 views. But then on my main screen, it said I had 800 views. And I'm like, it's in the water.
It's in the water.
What the fuck?
Going to the clinker, the big house.
Happy belated birthday, Marie. Wait, when was your birthday, Marie? Marie's been around since the beginning. Last week you turned 39. Well, happy birthday, Marie. This one's for you, babe, since you weren't here on your birthday. We're going to celebrate it now.
Go, shorty. It's your birthday.
Happiest of birthdays if you're celebrating a birthday. I hope you have a great day. And if you celebrated and we weren't with you, I hope that it was a great day. Hello, Bella. Good morning. Good morning, GD. Ms. just got the side eye from her daughter. Good morning, Angie B. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But today's live, we're going to be talking about the Crumbleys. You see these two shit bags on the screen, right? So we're going to be talking about what the latest is in their case. Hey, Lisa. We're going to talk about the latest in the Crumbley case. We're going to talk about what's going on with Ethan, the latest on them. And then we're going to get into the victims and the school board, because there's a lot going on besides just the criminal case. And hi, Janice. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Ripley, happy Friday. I hope everybody's staying warm. It's actually warming up here in Florida today. It's Nice. Did y'all know 50 Cent is producing the Lisk documentary? I did not. Island always has the best random fun facts. I love it. Like, we need to do pop-up videos and have Island Thrifts produce them, because you really have like all the random fun facts. I freaking love it. Lucia, good morning, honey. How are you doing? And Flo, how are you doing? We've got 2 people that are recovering with some rehab. Oh, okay. So let's get into this. The first things first. Ethan Crumbley, I've had the event up for a while. Oh, hey, Daly. I've had the event up for a while. He is being sentenced on December 8th. So we have a full week next week. We have Tracy Ferreter has a hearing on Wednesday of next week. Thursday, we have Lori Vallow has a hearing. And then on Friday, we have Ethan Crumbley being sentenced. And he could get life and parole. But life with parole. Or without, rather. We're not sure what he's going to get. But we're going to have all these victim impact statements on the 8th of December. It starts at 8:30 in the morning. So I'm expecting it to probably be long. Because there's so many victims. And I don't exactly know who's all going to speak, but I have a feeling that it's going to be pretty intense and pretty emotional. So that's on the docket for December the 8th, next Friday. So huge week next week. So as of a couple weeks ago, James and Jennifer, the 2 you see on the screen, which are Ethan Crumbley's parents, we're all aware of who they are, right?
Hi, Jennifer.
They petitioned a judge. So there's been new witnesses coming in. Okay. 2 new prosecution witnesses, they say, can hurt their chances at a fair trial. We don't know who these witnesses are. But the Crumbleys are both facing involuntary manslaughter charges for providing the gun to Ethan and not acting on his mental health issues. So Ethan ultimately pleaded guilty to the murder and terrorism charges last year, October of 2022. And like I said, he'll be sentenced December the 8th. So this is going to be groundbreaking. I don't know why more people aren't covering it and more people aren't talking about this, because we have never seen parents be held accountable in a school shooting like this. This is like a paramount case and no one's talking about it. I wish Lawyer would pick up this case because I love his breakdowns because he talks to us like we're normal people and he gets to the point, right? You don't have to watch him for 5 hours to get shit explained to you. But I don't know why no one's picking up on this. It's going to set the bar. I agree, Kendi. It's going to set the bar. And it's going to be huge. So let's get on with it. First cases of its kind. The parents are accused of making a firearm too easily accessible to their son and ignoring the warning signs that he was depressed. Both parents, and this is huge, they face up to 60 years. D. Moss, what's up? J. Lo, what's up? 60 years. Patrick thinks because it's too close to home, people are scared to watch. You think they're just sticking their head in the sand? W. Smith, Rakita Law should cover. Somebody should be covering this. Because it's like a case we've never heard. I mean, everybody likes to flock to the ones that everyone's watching. What's up, Jason? What's up, Jay? Everyone wants to flock to the ones that everyone wants to hear about. But this is so important. It's just so important. And I'm not just saying that because I'm from Michigan and this happened 20 minutes from where I used to live. That makes it close to home for me, but it makes it even more important to cover it. So, especially now with all of the failures that we're going to hear about of the school. And An independent report and an investigation found that this whole thing could have been avoided. The whole damn thing. If the school had done what they were supposed to do, this whole thing could have been avoided. So what is this going to do for the Crumbley trial? Is it going to change their culpability if the school's failures to have a plan in place? They had no plan. These teachers were scrambling during the shooting. No one was looking at the video cameras. We're going to get into all of this. But it's nuts. But does this mean if the independent report says the school could have avoided all of this if they would have treated Ethan as a person who they thought was suicidal? They said, the counselor said it in his own words, that they thought Ethan was suicidal. So they did not act on that, right? So we'll get into all of that. But anyways, there's 2 witnesses that are coming from Florida. They're coming from Florida. They spoke to police, and prosecutors turned over police reports and audio files of the witness interviews to the Crumbley's defense attorneys on November 2nd. Now, if you didn't know, the Crumbleys used to reside here in Florida. Of course they did, right? All the crazies reside in Florida at one point. I'm living proof. But 2 people from Florida. So I wonder if one of them isn't James Crumbley's ex, the one that he ditched the kid with. Remember, she came out in the very beginning. Good morning, Jeff. Do you remember when she came out in the beginning? And she said he was a piece of shit. I mean, literally, those were her exact words. She said, he's a piece of shit. He was a deadbeat dad. And yeah. So I wonder if she's one of them, and I wonder if his child is the other. I saw it. We can catch up on other cases after this. I got to focus on this. Do you guys think that could be it? That his estranged daughter and his ex could be the witnesses? So at that time, there's 2 people coming up from Florida. They've got police reports and audio files from these witness interviews. And after reviewing the evidence, the attorneys for both parents said that separating the trial was necessary. Be careful, Meg. Necessary to avoid infringing on the rights of both spouses. So the split trial comes after months of contention between the couple, according to court documents. Earlier this month, the prosecution said in court filings that James Crumbley's attorney should know that Jennifer Crumbley has placed blame on him in jail communications, not elaborating any further. So it sounds like Jennifer is turning on James. In a February 2022 pretrial hearing, a former coworker of Jennifer Crumbley testified that Jennifer was having an extramarital relationship throughout 2021, and she would sneak away from work to meet someone and have flings in the Costco parking lot. Can't make it up, folks. Lake Orion Costco. Let's meet there and rendezvous, because Jennifer Crumbley is so classy. She's a class act. So, yeah, she's turning on her husband. Dynamite. Good morning. And their trials are separate. So their trial that was together was supposed to begin January 23rd of 2024. And a trial is still going to take place January 23rd, 2024, but we don't know who's going to go first. So I don't know if they're going to draw straws, if they're going to flip a fucking coin. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah. We don't know who's going to be up January 23rd. I don't know when they're going to decide, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted because one of these shitbags is going to be in court January 23rd, and we will cover it. So stay tuned, folks. Yeah, they got some pizza at Costco after winning and got a slice. He's like, oh, it's BOGO day. Let's meet for some romping in the Costco parking lot, and then I'll treat you to a slice of pizza, Miss Jennifer. So let's do a little rewind. I got some video footage to share with you guys. Let's rewind on the Crumbley case. And then we'll get into the Oxford School Board and the parents of these children. And the students, actually, because the students just walked out the other day as well. Did you know that Oxford Community Schools did not provide any tricks, any trauma support for these children? No trauma support after this shooting. It's craziness. It's crazy. All right, so let's get our video pulled up for today. Happy FriJAY. It is Friday, December 1st. I forgot to say that. Happy December 1st. Good morning, Cicada. Good morning, everyone. Glad to see everyone here. Glad to see that you guys are seeing that I'm live on YouTube. YouTube isn't blocking me, cock blocking me anymore. Well, they are sometimes, but hey, what are you going to do? What you going to do about it? You just got to keep plugging along. And you know what? The ones that matter are here. So thank you guys for being here. All right, so let's get our video up here. And we're going to be taking a step back in time and we're going to watch what the Crumbley parents did in the very beginning. The very beginning when they ran.
Seen in CNN exclusive video, the parents of the accused Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley were taken into custody early yesterday morning. James and Jennifer Crumbley are accused of not doing enough to stop their son.
James and Jennifer Crumbley are now being held separately in the same jail as their son Ethan. Their capture came after they failed to turn themselves into authorities in Oakland County when warrants were issued for their arrest. They were caught in nearby Detroit.
If there's no culpability, why would you go be in a warehouse in Detroit?
Police believe the
Right?
couple had help getting into that warehouse and say anyone who assisted them may also face charges. Lawyers for the Crumbleys say their clients weren't running. They were going to turn themselves in on Saturday.
You know, that's fine. We don't wait for that.
In a court appearance, they were charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the deaths of 4 students from Oxford High School, both pleading not guilty. Prosecutors say their son Ethan carried out the rampage using a gun purchased by his father days earlier as a Christmas present. Prosecutors say the Crumbleys were aware of disturbing and violent drawings found on their son's desk the morning of the shooting.
Your Honor, this is a very serious, horrible, terrible murder and shooting, and it has affected the entire community. And these 2 individuals could have stopped it.
The judge set their bond at $500,000 each. Both could face up to 15 years in prison if convicted. Their son Ethan has been charged as an adult with more
to the school board. It's actually alleged.
Okay, so that's our little... I want to go back to this, though. I want to talk about this Detroit warehouse for a minute. So this is what's crazy. We've never heard from the dude that let them... Hey, Tiff, who let them stay in this warehouse. Okay, so let's break this down. So they find out about the shooting. We know that Jennifer was like telling her coworkers, oh my God, Ethan did it. I just know it. I just know he did it. And she leaves. And then, hold on. So they leave. And they empty out Ethan Crumbley's bank account. Ethan Crumbley had like, I don't know, a couple $1,000s in the bank. So they empty out their son's bank account. They buy gift cards. And they have cash. And they go to this warehouse in Oxford or in Detroit. And Detroit is like a 30 mile drive from Oxford, right? So I dug into this back in the day because I wanted to know who this dude was that let them stay in this warehouse. So he's like this artist, and he has this warehouse in Detroit, and he painted a big mural in the village of Oxford on, like, they have a really old historic downtown area, and he painted something on the wall of the bar that the Crumbleys hung at. Big shocker. So I'm assuming while they were there having drinkies, they were shooting the shit with this artist. And I don't know if he knew anything about the shooting because we've never heard from him. We've never seen him. He's never done an interview. We never heard from him. So I don't know if he's going to come out at trial or what. It's been totally hush hush. The news has never talked to him. Like, nothing's ever happened with this guy. So as I was watching this, so they asked him for orange juice. They asked him for vodka. They asked him for blankets, and he provided this shit. So it makes me wonder, like, didn't that guy ask the Crumbleys, why are you wanting to hide in my warehouse? Don't you think that's weird? So I can't wait to find out if we hear more from this guy. That'll be really interesting. Good morning, Indigo. So they hung out in this thing. Yeah, everyone in Michigan knew about it, Lisa. You're right. Like, how could he not know? So I don't know if they, like, held something to him and got, like, information from him. And that's, like, part of the trial. So, this, I'm going to slow this down. So this is inside this warehouse where they were arrested. And then if you look here, this is outside the warehouse. Okay. So this is like what the old buildings in Detroit look like. So they were hiding out in here. And I'm wondering who this dude is in the scarf. Is that our guy? Is that our guy? Because look, and then the news curiously says, while they show him, anybody who was helping them could face charges. And who is this guy? He looks all eccentric, like an artist with his scarf. Now watch really close.
That warehouse and say anyone who assisted them may also face charges.
Did you see
Lawyers for the Crumbleys
I
say
think he's like, I don't know.
Assisted them.
I mean, it's just a hunch. I don't know who this guy is, but it's just a hunch. I don't know if they gave him money. I didn't get that far. Juice, vodka, and blankets. Oh my. Hey, Jackie. Bushable baked beans. Bushable baked beans. W. Smith says artist scarf 100%. I just think he just looks kind of like the artsy type. So I don't know. He has really large hands too. He has really large hands. I noticed that. Kind of reminded me of these. Wait. These. Look at those hands though, guys. Jesus, we haven't looked at these hands in a while. That is some disturbing business right there. Does anyone think that those are hands of an innocent man? Do you think those are the hands of an innocent man? I don't. Okay, so anyways, back to our guy. So I don't know if this is the artist guy, but I'm thinking it could be. So I don't know what their plan was, but they was hanging out here and they needed some vodka to get through it.
May also face charges. Lawyers for the Crumbleys say their clients weren't running. They were going to turn themselves in on Saturday.
You know, that's fine. We don't wait for that.
In a court of...
Yeah, like they make the rules. They make the rules. We're turning ourselves in on Sunday. And the sheriff's like, no, we don't wait for them.
They were charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the deaths of 4 students from Oxford High School, both pleading not guilty. Prosecutors say their son Ethan carried out the rampage using a gun purchased by his father days earlier as a Christmas present. Prosecutors.
Okay, let's look at his post again to remember how freaking disturbing this is. Here's Instagram. Ethan Crumbley. Ethan.Crumbley. Just got my new beauty today. Heart eye emoji. 6 hour 9mm. Ask any questions, I will answer. And then here's Dum Dum Jen C 78. Mom and Sunday testing out his new Xmas present. First time shooting a 9mm, I hit the bullseye. Couple of idiots.
Father days earlier as a Christmas present. Prosecutors say the Crumbleys were aware of disturbing and violent drawings found on their son's desk.
I don't remember the desk thing, but yeah, there was a lot of disturbing ass things, okay? So then let's get into, that's the latest on them. So we'll find out who's going to be first up January 23rd, 2024. Diana, hello, my love. So let's get into the lawsuit. This came up shortly after the parents started finding out what really happened. Like, the school was sugarcoating everything. Some of these parents had to watch their kids get shot on the video because the school wouldn't be honest about what happened. So let's take a look at this news report.
It's actually alleged in a lawsuit that an armed security guard saw Tate Muir bleeding and walked past him because they thought it was a drill.
Thank you, Tiff.
One by one, Oxford High School parents aired out their...
Andrea, okay, hang on. I'm going to look this guy up before we move on from that so we don't get too far off task, but I want to see if that's the same guy. So hold up. Thank you, Tough Tiff, coming in hot with his name. Okay, Andrzej Sikora. He was born in Poland. Oh, look, December 8th, 2021. Good find. Troy, an artist quiz by detectives. Hold up. This is perfect. Thank you, Tiff. An artist quiz by detectives about his relationship with an Oxford Township husband and wife found by police in his Detroit art studio had reached out to the woman after hearing about the November 30th Oxford shooting. Oh, that's not him. He's 65 unless he just looks really young. That's not him. This is him. Jackie Bushable, thank you. Andrzej Sikora, 65 of Troy, was questioned by investigators with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office for 2 hours on Monday in Rochester Hills, said his attorney Clarence Dass. And this was December 7th, 2021, just a week after the shootings. And this is him. He contacted authorities in Detroit and Oakland County following the discovery of James and Jennifer early Saturday morning in a commercial space in the 1100 block of Bellevue linked to him. How did they get in if he didn't know? Sikora is friends with James and Jennifer, the 45 and 43-year-old parents of 15-year-old Ethan. Sikora, had heard, welcome Wendy Sunshine. Sikora had heard of the school shooting and texted Jennifer Crumbley to ask if they were all right. On Friday, she contacted him and said they received death threats and asked to meet with him at his studio. They wanted to put some distance between themselves and Oxford and the media and wanted to wait to hear from their attorneys on what to do next. He didn't know of the charges, but he was concerned about their safety. Do you believe it? Police received a description of the vehicle and were tipped to the Crumbleys' whereabouts by the building owner, who spotted their Kia parked inside his enclosed lot. So the building owner actually knew, and this guy's saying, oh, I had no idea. He knew they were on the run. He knew there was a manhunt. The fucking U.S. Marshals were looking for them. Wow. This is nuts. It was a friendly interview, and Sikora cooperated and answered every one of their questions, said his lawyer. And he insisted that Sikora has no criminal culpability. So Items were removed from Socorro's Troy home and were being analyzed by the sheriff's computer crime lab technicians. They took electronic tablets and telephones. And then his lawyer said it was not a surprise. I was told they were going to look for certain materials. It was very orderly. He says the majority of the questions during the interview were about the Crumbleys, said Das, who declined to elaborate. Socorro said he left the couple at his studio at 5 p.m. and to go home and told them to lock up when they left. He never expected them to stay the night there. They said they were waiting to hear from their attorneys to figure out what to do next, but were planning on turning themselves in. Das said it wasn't until Saturday, after Socorro learned the couple were actively being sought by authorities. And then he contacted Detroit police and the Oakland County Sheriff. But by then, the couple were already in custody. So he contacted the cops after they freaking arrested these two. Unreal. Thank you for looking that up, Tough Tiff. That was a good find. Great find. Very interesting. I always wanted to know more about him. All right, so let's get back to the video. This is back to the school, the parents calling for resignation of the school board. What's up, Karchi?
Fury at the school board for what they consider to be a lack of transparency and action.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
You guys don't care about the kids.
Okay, now let me give you some background on this little snippet. The guy talking to the school board is the father of Tate Muir. Tate Muir was shot and killed. And he received an $800 check in the mail from the school board or from someone on the school board. And look what he does at the school board meeting, guys. Watch close. Look at the stage. Good morning, Casey.
Transparency and action.
It's ridiculous. You guys don't care about the kids.
Those heavy words coming from Buck Muir, father of one of the slain Oxford students, Tate Muir.
We've got, 8.5 months later, not one answer on what went wrong that day. No investigation, no police report.
From the board. But several of the Oxford parents invested in a separate investigation and are now alleging in a lawsuit an armed security guard not only walked past a bloody Tate Muir, but could have prevented Justin Schilling from dying. Facts Muir believes the board should have been more transparent about. During the meeting, the school board expressed regret for not being able to provide all the answers and spoke about restoring trust in the community. But Muir...
So it's important to note, too, that these two guys you see the chick on the right and then the two guys in the middle, they've resigned. They resigned. When this shit got heavy and it was proven they fucked up, they didn't do their jobs, they resigned. So a lot of people feel like they did the right thing by resigning. So these two guys are no longer there.
With this.
One last thing, Tom,
Tom.
got this check in the mail from you for about $800. And I don't want your money. There's blood on that.
Wow. Let's watch that again. So listen to the crowd when he says, I got your check, and you hear like people go, oh. This guy's son died, and their security guard walked past him. It's on video. It's all on video. Watch.
Restoring trust in the community, but Muir left with this.
One last thing, Tom, got this check in the mail from you for about $800. And I don't want your money. There's blood on that.
Okay.
Everybody good?
So we're going to watch more of Buck Muir. Buck Muir is awesome. This guy is so strong. These parents are so strong. They're amazing. And this is your school board now. So see, those men are gone. Now there's new people in there and they're still not doing anything. So what the deal is the school was supposed to, by law, this is run by the Department of Homeland Security and the Secret Service. They have regulated emergency preparedness plans for school shootings. There's books on it. The Oxford School had the books. Good morning, Quinn. The Oxford School had the books. They had the programs. They just didn't implement them. So every year there's a review of their emergency preparedness plan. Okay? Or they're supposed to be. And it's due December 15th of every year. Okay? The shooting happened November 30th. They still hadn't started their emergency preparedness plan of 2021. Good morning, CE No. Good morning, Myron. They still hadn't even started it. 2 weeks before it was due. So it turned out in this independent investigation that was done was that they were just checking off the boxes. They were checking off the boxes saying, yes, we did this. Yes, we did that. And then they sent it into the federal government and they got federal funding. So there could be criminal charges coming for some of these folks because they defrauded the federal government and they broke the law by not implementing the programs that they were supposed to implement. They didn't do anything that they were supposed to do. And they got funding for it. So why anybody wants to sit on this board, I have no idea. But we're going to hear more from Buck Muir, who is the dad of Tate. Now, let me preface this by saying that the school board meeting started out where they got 5 minutes to talk. The people there got 5 minutes. They didn't like what the people had to say, so they shaved it down to 3. Good morning, Thomas. They shaved it down to 3 minutes. And at this meeting in the very beginning, I mean, this is hours. This is like 3.5 hours. I would love to play the whole thing for y'all. I don't think you'd want to watch the whole thing. I liked watching it, but it was something I sat and watched. If you guys want to watch the whole thing, I can upload them and we can watch them together in their entirety. Let me know in chat if you would like to see the whole things uploaded and we can watch them bit by bit and kind of follow the school board meetings. School board meetings are normally very boring. So you hear school board meeting, you're like, fuck, that's boring shit. Snoozer. These are not boring. These are very important because a lot of details come out in these meetings. There's so many people that could have prevented this, down from the school to the parents to, the counselors, it's just, and then their behavior after the shooting was deplorable. And I think that's what these parents are grappling with, is the fact that they're still not doing the right thing. They're still not doing the right thing. While these parents are calling on the governor to investigate them. So after the shooting, the Attorney General of Michigan offered to do an extensive investigation into the shooting to find out what went wrong. Like, the state was saying, we'll help you. We will conduct a thorough investigation of this shooting and we'll help you figure out what went wrong so we can prevent this. These people aren't interested in preventing this. They want to act like it didn't happen in their little town, in their little village of Oxford. Well, it did. And there's so many kids that haven't healed from this that they've walked out on school. This is their future. They're supposed to be preparing for their future right now. It's infuriating, and it should infuriate everyone. It should infuriate everyone. So let's listen to Mr. Muir, Tate Muir's dad. And you can see he's being a smartass because they had everybody, and rightfully so, they had everybody fill out cards. So back to the time, they get 3 minutes. So they had everybody fill out cards when they got there. And they get called up to fucking talk, right? So when you hear him say, "Are we ready? Are we good? Did everybody fill out their cards?" Like, these people, this is just a couple weeks ago, they're fed the fuck up. This has been 2 years. And these kids still haven't gotten any trauma support. 2 years. So you can imagine, emotions are running high. This is not your typical school board meeting. Let's listen to Mr. Muir.
Everybody good? You guys good?
We're good, Buck. Go ahead.
Okay. Is everybody good? Cards to turn in? Let's do it, man.
Let's do it, man.
Okay, so are all the cards turned in? Just one moment before you start. So after the first unscheduled audience participation speaker speaks, then we're not collecting additional cards.
That's why he said what he said. Did you hear how she just addressed the father of Tate Muir, who was shot dead at school? As soon as the first unscheduled speaker. As the victim of a boy who was shot at school, as the father, do you think he should ever be addressed as an unscheduled speaker at the school? He should be an honorable speaker at this school. Shit, I'm going to get all worked up. That pisses me off so bad to see 2 years later that this guy is being disrespected in this way by these bitches on the school board. The main bitch calls him an unscheduled speaker.
Okay, so are all the cards turned in? Just one moment before you start. So after the first unscheduled audience participation speaker speaks, then we're not collecting additional cards.
Is everybody good?
Get him,
Cards
Buck.
to turn in? Let's do it, man. Everybody good? You guys good?
We're good, Buck. Go ahead.
Okay. This is our community.
So first of all, I'm sorry, I have to give you a little more background. So before, the community wasn't showing up. It was strictly just the parents. And the parents were really, they were distraught that the whole community wasn't showing up and wasn't finding out what was going on. Well, after the independent report, now the town is there, right? It's not just the parents. It's not just within their little bubble of the school. Now the community's here. And he says, now your community's in front of you.
This group consists of community members, students, neighbors, friends, and teachers in the district. Not all want to speak, but being here speaks volumes. We are done with the deflecting and the denial. In your apology, I didn't hear we failed. Because you did fail. You failed our kids and our community. Four kids were murdered on your watch and in your house. I could flip this around and think, from your guys' point of view, how do we know this is going to happen? Well, if you're doing your job and monitoring your business of kids, because that's the business you're in, is kids, and understanding the industry trends, November 30th never happens. As you would have had threat assessment in place, here are some stats for you to prove that you should have had threat assessment in place. According to the 2021 U.S. Surgeon General's advisory, high school students reported persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness increased by 40% from 2009 to 2019. During this same period, students seriously considering suicide increased by 36%. As of 2019, nearly 37% of high school students reported having persistent feelings of loneliness.
These
A 97% increase from 2012.
staggering. Hold on. Let's stop there. These numbers are alarming, y'all. Alarming. And let me know if you guys like this content. There is a lot more. I only clipped 37 minutes of different things for y'all, but there's a lot more, and it's important. It's really important to me, and I hope it's important to you guys. So let me know in the poll if you'd like to, jump into this a little bit deeper.
So us not having threat assessment in place is unacceptable. The research is there. Do it.
Let's listen to those stats one more time.
In your apology, I didn't hear we failed. Because you did fail. You failed our kids and our community. Four kids were murdered on your watch and in your house. I could flip this around and think, from your guys' point of view, how do we know this is going to happen? Well, if you're doing your job and monitoring your business of kids, because that's the business you're in, is kids, and understanding the industry trends, November 30th never happens. As you would have had threat assessment in place, here are some stats for you to prove that you should have had threat assessment in place. According to the 2021 U.S. Surgeon General's advisory, high school students reported persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness increased by 40% from 2009 to 2019. During this same period, students seriously considering suicide increased by 36%. As of 2019, nearly 37% of high school students reported having persistent feelings of loneliness, a 97% increase from 2012.
97% increase.
So us not having threat assessment in place is unacceptable. The research is there. Do it. I do have some questions on the scope of work. It was a narrow scope of work, and Guidepost was not asked to, for the most part, from 30,000 feet.
Okay, let me just explain what Guidepost is. Guidepost is the company that did the independent report. And there's meetings that were live that are on YouTube of them as well. So what happened was Guidepost did this complete investigation into the school. And what the school did was there were certain people that were to be questioned, and they lawyered up and they refused to cooperate with the independent investigation. I don't know how these people are getting away with this, but they are. So this Guidepost opened up three different sessions for community and parents and whatnot to come in and ask questions relating to this report. So that's what Guidepost is when he talks about Guidepost. And Guidepost only investigated the shooting, not the aftermath and what they did after or didn't do after.
Investigate before the shooting and the day of the shooting, and not necessarily investigate what happened after the shooting. Correct? They reported on it, but they weren't say, yeah, they didn't give a thumbs up or thumbs down on how the responses were after. Correct?
Are you talking report 1 or report 2?
I'm talking report 2.
Okay.
I'm talking this last report. Okay? So I have a lot of questions on the response because seconds matter. My first question is, my son was shot 1 minute and 3 seconds after the shooting started. Wolf didn't make the announcement till 1 minute and 37 seconds. Seconds matter. you know, I think when we, and I kind of understand that you guys have been put in a bad spot by our government. They've kind of kicked this right down the hallway at you guys. But that's the spot you're in. And you better buckle up and take on that responsibility. So, lives could have been saved. From what I'm seeing, lives could have been saved after the shooting started. And they weren't. Another quick question I have, why wasn't anybody manning the surveillance video? Because that is the most important part here. When everybody has eyes on the shooter, you go anywhere in that school, you can be on the other side of that school in 30 seconds.
Okay, let's talk about this. So they have surveillance cameras and nobody was manning them. It was utter chaos. No one was communicating. They didn't have a plan in place for these teachers to get alerted. The teachers were literally texting one another in the chaos of an active shooter because this school had no clue what they were doing because they didn't prepare for it. But the worst part of it is, it's fine. Like, no, it's not fine, but like, they didn't prepare for it. Okay, they screwed up. Everybody knows that they screwed up. But they won't admit it and they won't make a change. So here they are 2 years later, their kids are in the same school and still there's no plan in place. There's been no trauma support. These kids are told to just move on, suck it up and move on. Thank you for subscribing, Charles.
Nobody was manning the surveillance video. So, Potts was, you know, we're not even going to get into the whole Potts thing, but, you know, why don't we get these questions answered? So I'm going to reach out. I'm calling on our governor to start an immediate investigation on the system response. Because none of us know whether it was adequate. Do you, Mike? Amanda? Heather? Aaron? Do we know if, like, it was seamless and perfect? I'm not saying it was or it wasn't, but seeing some of the stuff after the shooting, it doesn't appear like things happen fast, and they should have happened faster, because seconds matter.
Imagine being.
We need to learn from this.
Imagine being this father, and your son's life was taken, and these people don't see any urgency in even making a better plan. Even if they did things right, why is there why are they so stubborn to say that there's not room for improvement? There's always room for improvement. If an independent investigation tells you that you could have saved 3 of those 4 children's lives by acting faster, why would they not want to? It's so weird to me.
And prevent the next one. And Vicki, we touched on this in the last meeting. You know, threat assessment's in place now, and that's awesome for our students. But the fact of the matter is 65% of the people didn't speak up. So we don't know everything about November 30th. And we know 0 about the response after the shooting.
When he says 65% of them wouldn't speak up, he's talking about the assholes from the school who lawyered up and would not cooperate with the independent investigation. So we don't know their steps. We don't know what these people did because they hired lawyers. Unreal that they get away with this.
So we haven't learned from November 30th. In closing, appreciate the apology, but I didn't hear an admission of failure because you failed us. Our government has failed us, and I'm going after them next. And I'm not tired, and I'll take this battle to the grave.
That just gave me chills. Chills. This is why I want people to report on this. This is why I want, tell your favorite creators to cover this. Everyone needs to cover this. It's so important.
To the grave.
In front of all your
Okay, Jared Watson, please.
Okay, so this Jared Watson is one of my favorites. So Jared Watson, his son was shot and survived. His son has PTSD. He suffers from trauma. He came to this meeting and he was going to speak, but he got anxiety so bad he had to leave. This is his dad.
Okay, Jared Watson, please. No, I think he's coming.
Thank you for finally showing up.
Okay, he's talking about the community. Like I said before, it was just parents, and they felt so defeated. Well, now the community knows.
Every time we come to something, we pray, Lord, let that be the day that the community showed up. Because it's hard to stand here alone for 2 years against this. And shame on the rest of you that didn't. Buck said it best. What if this would have touched your household? It touched ours. My son was going to stand here. He was here. He was going to, so you could stare at one of the kids that you were responsible for the day that he got shot, because their kids can't. They're here now. You can't hide anymore. The report's out. We know what you knew. We all knew. Now they know. And now they're here. Why are you still here? Seriously, are you going to tell us, let's go Oxford, let's go vote for American Idol or whatever it was? That's right. That you never read the room. I came to your open community session before the report was out, and I tried, and we've listened. This impacts our life every day. We were in a meeting today. I won't get into the details, and I appreciate you're willing to meet with us, but it was related to this because our son still deals with this every day. The culture you have created has enabled people to think, you know what, they didn't do anything wrong, so maybe there's something wrong with those victims. My son, we were in a meeting today. I won't get into the details, and I appreciate you're willing to meet with us, but it was related to this because our son still deals with this every day. The culture you have created has enabled people to think, you know what, they didn't do anything wrong, so maybe there's something wrong with those victims. My son isn't the only one that's been victimized post-shooting, and it still happens. I've talked to other people's parents and their families, and some of these people still have kids and family in the district. Do you know how traumatizing it is to see you? I wanted my son to stand here, but he couldn't because he can't. He tried. He came here. He tried. He left. He came back. He left again. Wolf was responsible that day. I didn't know all the details about Wolf. I liked Wolf. He was a good person to us, treated us right, my kids right. But he created a culture in a building that, don't bother me with that. Do you know when we spoke, go ahead, go over. Ejax recorded on a police body cam telling the police that day that we were afraid, Hopkins and I, to send him back to class because he might hurt himself or someone else. Paraphrase exactly. But he knew, you knew. Counselor number 1, you heard that one? Let's mock the whole damn thing at the opening weekend the following August.
He's putting some truth out there, guys. They were more worried about their freaking Oxford Idol voting than they were about these kids.
Paraphrase exactly. But he knew, you knew.
And they sent Ethan back to class. That was another failure. Sending Ethan back to class, thinking he might hurt himself. But let's not check his backpack, because Ethan had a loaded gun in his backpack. But counselor number 1, who's not named in the lawsuit, that's why he says counselor number 1.
Counselor number 1, you heard that one? Let's mock the whole damn thing at the opening weekend the following August. We hear everything you hear and know. We get phone calls. You do something, we hear about it. We have to hear about it because there are so many people in this community that know we have a voice. We've used it. We've talked to the media because the first time we really did it was because the prosecutor asked us to. said that we're well spoken, and they think it's important for us to get the story out there. We didn't want to do it. I'm going to keep going.
Go ahead. That's fine.
I am shaking. I am so angry.
Please talk.
I have sat in Congress and watched these people's families talk. I have seen our elected officials turn their backs on them. I have seen them make promises they haven't kept. You hired one of them. I didn't even know that. That's disgusting. Some of you that sit there, we elected you in. And shame on everyone that voted for Mary, by the way.
Yeah, screw you, Mary.
I can't. I'm not going to be quiet anymore. I will fight you in federal court. I will fight you in state court. I will fight governmental immunity. I will fight you in the streets if I have to. I will fight you with campaigns. I will fight you with 42 Strong. I will fight you with gardens. I will fight you with memories of people who have to live with every day that their kids aren't here, or every day that their kids are scared, or every day that their kids are victimized, or every day that their kids are hurt or traumatized. Wolf made an announcement. Don't say anything. What did we add?
Don't say anything.
2 kids reporting that they saw bullets in the classroom because they felt like, oh, we should report it. Oh, no, wait a minute. You told us not to report things anymore. You had a list with his name on it that had 20 students who were flagged by the test you gave him at the beginning of the year. You did nothing list. Oh, we couldn't identify who had the bird head. What if you would have made a list of 400 kids that all peed that day, and then you cross-reference that to the list of those kids who were having, I don't know, he's sad, and or he triggered on this list of 20. That might have narrowed it down to maybe 15 or 20 or so. Is it really that bad that you can't interview 15 kids? You didn't want to see it. You still don't want to see it. You had policies in place that never got used. You checked the box. Well, good for us. The superintendent you hired blamed Lamont. Lamont blamed him. It's not my responsibility. You gave him 3 months paid leave. Probably so. I don't know the numbers here, but maybe he got his year in as superintendent, so he got his full retirement. Now he's working in Bay City. I commend what he did for Kylie. I do. That's real. You can't hide from that. There are some heroes here. I've seen the video. Noose is running towards it. Christy Gibson Marshall is already there. I watched her testify. I watched these families watch their child die on video for the first time, and I will never forget that.
Damn.
The one that got Tate, the next one got my son. It just got him a little lower. I don't want to be here anymore, but I will fight you till the day I die. I will fight against this because no one else will. We needed you after the shooting. You weren't there. 7-0, 7-0, 7-0. It's not like you voted once the other way. You don't even have your own thoughts. You think, what are you doing here? Like, seriously, leave. I mean, your apology means nothing now. It means nothing. Have you read the report? Have you read the report? All these closed sessions where your buddy Mullins is in here and we're out here and you're making us wait and we're here till 10:30, 11, 12:30. Just waiting for our moment, and then you cut it from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, and you take your little notes, and whether it's Donnelly or Dan or you or whoever, I don't care anymore. Or if it's you, because I went to your hearing to see what your platform was. What have you done? What have you done? I know you're doing stuff. I've seen it. I know you're doing stuff. What are you two doing? That's 4-3. You're all new. You all ran on what you said you would do differently. What's different? And I'm not talking about now, because you can't have a now without a then, and without a then we can't heal, and we can't heal until the wound closes, and the wound can't close until you actually stand the hell up and say, well, shit, I screwed up. It happened on our watch. We're sorry. I'm going to resign. I'm going to resign. I'm going to resign. You never should have been here to begin with. Nothing needs to change. Are you kidding me? I know about your past and all the other crap you dealt with, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about, it's 14 days, 16 days to the shooting. My son will stand up on December 8th and read a statement that he agonized over to make sure that the person who did that to him and stole these 4 children's lives will never spend another day free. And he still might get out because, hey, we're reintroducing term limits, or not term limits, get out for good behavior in our, but we'll fight that too, by the way.
Yeah.
But the reports here, you have nowhere else to hide. There are no more closed sessions. We know. And we only know part of it because you again failed to step up and force someone like Hopkins
to testify. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. They lawyered up, and the people that were running the school, the superintendent, the administration, all these people lawyered up and didn't speak. It's bullshit.
I mean, seriously, why does he have a job? EJAC at least gave us the courtesy to quit.
He's still
right?
working there, too.
Okay, he's out. The person you replaced him with doesn't do a much better job, okay? I can show you an email he sent us back in regards to something we came to him. Shame on us for trying to trust again. But I'm done trusting. I don't have a choice. Well, why don't you take your kids somewhere else? Where am I going to take them where they still do things where he feels safe? Where all his friends are that actually went through what he went through. Where he can get the IEP that he needs, which is why we came to this district to begin with. Go to a Christian school. Christian schools are all in districts that have really poor secondary services. Okay? That's just the truth. You go to Oakland Christian, they're in Pontiac. That's not...
Okay, so
Nicole?
I didn't play his whole thing, but we can revisit these in their entirety if you guys would like. The next one we're going to watch, this is the mother of Madison. Madison was also shot and killed in the shooting. Here's what Madison's mom has to say. She's so pretty, by the way.
Hear me? Yes. Okay.
Very strong woman here.
Good evening. The last few days it's been voicing around impact and impact statements and having my 12-year-old do her impact statement for the courts.
Good God. Sad.
And really getting my voice out there to say what I need to say. How do you be a grieving mom and a good mom at the same time? How do you make your kids' accomplishments happy and you know that their sister didn't make that? So this is my impact statement to you guys because I'm not sure what the outcome will be after this meeting, so I want to make sure I get mine done now. It's been 714 days since I held my daughter, laughed with her, kissed her, listened to her jokes, or heard her say mama. 714 days that I've had to bend her voice, something she should be doing as of right now. But today, you will hear my voice. I have kept pretty low key, not came to many meetings, stayed mostly out of the public eye, and since moved away from a home that I've loved. A home that was filled with her. I've kept mostly my opinions to myself, and I've listened to the facts and the evidence, trying to understand why something like this could have happened. I'm not here to tell you where to shove it, but I am here to remind you that you will never forget my daughter. She is not a statistic. She is not a victim of gun violence. She was not taken for me to finally do your job. A job that you should have done prior to her death. A job that if you as a board member should have protected those children. A job to educate. Something that was clearly not done that day or years prior. It took my daughter's life for you to make a small change It took her life and 3 others to make a small change. One that seems like you're overcompensating for now. The actions that have been made towards our families are completely disgraceful, considering we are only the ones that have been fighting for them. And if you haven't forgotten, my daughter's name is Madison. Something I wonder if you remember. Say it over and over and over again.
Hi, Daly.
I know you might think this is redundant, and every meeting's about our children, and you are tired of hearing our voices, tired of hearing our children's names. But let me tell you, our nightmare continues. Each day they are gone. It's a never-ending nightmare, and it does not stop. And you don't have the right to forget it. I want you to be reminded every day on how you failed our children. It took one bullet to her temple at close range to take away her future. Coincidentally, a future that you have been preparing her for. But again, you failed her. So I'm now left with an urn and no future. I had to find my answers on my own. I had to watch my daughter die in a video because administration wanted to sugarcoat it. Because you didn't want to admit what you have done. I've always been a realist, only believing the facts. Well, the facts and actions of that day are now public. So where do you intend to hide now? I couldn't even get a straight answer the day if anybody was even with my daughter.
Good God.
But this report provided that. A Lake Orion chief of police, Harold Rossman, stayed with my daughter and performed CPR on her. Something I didn't know. It took your staff 18 minutes to get to my daughter as her body laid there lifeless, and a Lake Orion police chief stayed with her. Not one of your staff members even looked at her. You walked by her every second. Instead, I was held away from her, not able to say goodbye. And I had to identify her, and the next day through a steel door in a small window. I don't wish that pain on any parent. D'Alessandro called me on her 18th birthday, not knowing it was her 18th birthday, May 17th, 20.
Okay, so listen, one of these people called her to talk about something, and it was on her daughter's birthday, and they didn't even know. They didn't even, can you imagine?
22. He let me know that he would do everything to make sure we get the answers we deserve. I see how well that worked out. You say you know these kids, but he didn't even know it was her birthday that day. 2 days before she should have graduated. You know our children's by names because you read them, but you really don't know them at all. Telling you all these details is my way of letting you know that we go through this every second of our day. It never stops. We grieve to the point of exhaustion, and we are tired of the excuses. I'm telling you because you're not allowed to forget. So while you sit there and listen to us for 3 minutes of your day, I want you to remember this is every second of my life. This is every breath that I take, and a voice that deserves to be heard. My voice for once.
You're facing the classroom, correct?
Okay, yeah. Whew. I don't know how there was a dry eye in the place, because I'm sitting here crying. I mean, how can you not listen to her? Her absolute heartbreak. And how she barely gets that squeak out of her voice to be able to face these people and speak, but she gets that strength from the love of her kid. It's absolutely heartbreaking. No one should ever have to go through this. It's bad enough what happened 2 years ago. To see them still in this state of grief is absolutely unacceptable, in my opinion. Now we're going to watch a little bit of the testimony from Ethan Crumbley's trial. And we're going to hear some testimony from the teachers who were, testifying about the active shooting. So let's take a listen to this teacher. And pay close attention, because it's not her fault that she wasn't trained, that the school didn't follow through with protocol. She did what any normal person would have done that was not trained to do something different, right? So keep that in mind as you listen to her testimony.
Facing the classroom, correct?
Yeah, I'm still facing the wall, right? So if there was no wall there, I would be looking at the hallway.
Okay. And at some point you turn around and you see what?
I just turn around and you can see that bullet hole in the window up there. I noticed that, and I remembered thinking in my head, a BB gun couldn't do that. So.
Okay. What's through that window?
It's the courtyard.
Okay. What did you do next, Molly? Were you standing or were you sitting?
I was standing.
I have to ask you something. Was the night lock in your door at this point?
No.
Where was it?
It was in my hand.
Okay. So I didn't pick this up the first time when we watched his trial, but what Karen McDonald is doing is literally pointing out all of the failures that the school didn't train this woman on. Like, she had the lock in her hand, like she should have been trained that that's the first thing you do, right? The first thing you do is engage that lock, and then you hide. Then you crouch behind stuff. And it's not this woman's fault. I mean, this woman is clearly traumatized beyond traumatized, okay? Hold on, let me fix this. What did I just do? What did I just do? Hold on. So anyways, she's really traumatized, and I'm going to move this screen. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. But if you pay attention, like I said, to all the things that the prosecutor points out, you'll notice that there are things that she should have known to do, but the school obviously, didn't do their job. So, all right, there we go. I fixed it. All right, here we go. So now you can see her classroom.
At that point in time, I knew I needed to barricade my door. I was afraid to go back towards the door. So I grabbed one of those long filing cabinets and tried to pull it back, and realized it was too heavy for me.
Where was the filing cabinet?
So right next to that door, there was a mini fridge, then there was a filing cabinet, and then there was a cart.
Okay. Now, there is something barricading the door partially.
So
what is that, and how did it get there?
Yeah, so what happened was, after I realized I couldn't move that filing cabinet back, I got down on my hands and knees, and I crawled back, and I dropped the night lock in. And then I grabbed the rolling cabinet, and I shoved it against the door and the wall.
Okay. So you crawled over and then finally put the
night lock in.
Okay. And what did you do after you put that in front of the door and you put the night lock in?
At that point in time, I continued to move that filing cabinet out a little bit more so I could crawl behind it. My concern was that he would come back through that window and be able to see me.
The courtyard?
Correct.
Okay. Now, were you using both of your arms to move these things?
I was.
Okay. Were you feeling any pain?
I was not.
Okay. Once you got behind the filing cabinet, which is not visible in this picture, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Were you crouching, sitting, standing?
I was crouching down. At that point, I had sent my husband a text message that just said, "I love you, active shooter."
Okay.
Absolutely heartbreaking. But if you think about an active shooter situation and her being a teacher, this isn't what they're trained to do. And she wasn't trained to do anything. She didn't know what to do. So she's, normal behavior. She's thinking about her family, right? So she's texting her family. Meanwhile, there's all these people in the school on the other side of the school that could have been warned, hey, the shooter's on this side. Let's evacuate these kids. And there was no one manning the surveillance videos. So, it's like failure after failure after failure after failure, right?
Did he respond?
He did.
What did he say, if you remember?
He said, "Just get safe."
And what did you say?
I didn't respond to that. That was about the time that I realized that I was bleeding. I could feel blood on my arm. And I knew we have a blood bag you can see on the wall. It's in red. I knew I couldn't get back to the door. The wound is kind of back here on the back of my arm, so it was very difficult for me to see.
So you saw blood, and is that when you realized you had been shot?
I suppose, yes. I think I was still in disbelief that I had been shot. But what I knew was I was bleeding.
Okay. So
that was when I started receiving text messages.
Do you remember who you received a text message from?
So the first one was the ELA department, who I work with, said, "I'm hearing active shooter." And I responded, "I saw one."
So this is their communication when there's an active shooter. Can you imagine how chaotic this must have been to have no plan in place? They're literally texting each other.
And left it at that. And then moments later, I received a text message from my daughter.
And how old was your daughter at the time?
16.
And where was she, in high school somewhere else?
She was at a high school in a neighboring district.
And what did her text say, Mom?
She asked if I was okay, that they were hearing things.
And what did you respond?
I said, "I'm safe. I've sheltered in place, and I love you."
You did not tell her you'd been shot?
I did not.
And why not?
I was trying to protect her.
Okay. Did you text anyone and tell them that you had been shot?
I did not.
Okay.
Well, not yet.
Okay. What did you do after you sent that text to your daughter?
I had a moment where I thought, do I need to contact my other daughter who lives out of state? And
you didn't do that, but tell the court why.
I didn't do that because I thought she won't hear about this yet. She doesn't have to know about this yet.
So now you're not on the phone.
I'm not on the phone.
You're crouched behind the cabinet. Your arm is bleeding. And
another announcement comes on. This time it was Pam Fine, and she said we are still in lockdown. At that point, I received a text message from our media specialist that said, I didn't hear that clearly. And I said, we're still in lockdown. Stay in lockdown. I am starting to uncontrollably shake at that point in time. And I hear I hear something different in the hallway. I'm hearing footsteps. So
before that, though,
Yep.
had you told anyone else that you had been shot?
Only my husband knew.
Okay. So you're hearing a different noise, and you say it's footsteps.
It's footsteps. I was waiting for a shift. I didn't believe that this was life-threatening. And so I was waiting for a shift to say, I've been injured. Like once everything was taken care of.
What do you mean when you say everything was taken care of?
So she did not even report that she was shot. She kept it to herself. She didn't feel it was life-threatening, so she was waiting for like an all clear to say, hey, I'm hurt.
The shooter was taken into custody, I would say. And they said yes. There were officers at my door. And I think that's when they asked, are you injured? And I said yes. I said, do you want me to take out the night lock? And they said yes. And then I said, do you want me to open the door? And they said yes.
Did they say that you were safe? Did they say that?
I don't recall that. Okay. I opened the door, and I was still really crouched down.
Do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to
Okay, so that's the first teacher. And this is Ethan Crumbley's, I wouldn't say a trial because he didn't have a trial. This was a hearing where these people testified. It was a Miller hearing, it's called. But this is where the judge was to decide if Ethan Crumbley could face life without parole. So that's why they did this testimony. Here's another school employee.
So this court will be the whole truth?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Dixon.
Thank you. And ma'am, if you could, please state your full name for the record and spell your last name.
Christy Gibson Marshall, GIBSON-MARSHALL.
Thank you. And you have a very light voice, so if you could, please keep your... You can.
I can.
Thank you. People, your witness.
I think maybe your assistant principal voice is called for.
Pull on my PE voice. Yeah.
She's the assistant principal, and she used to be a PE teacher.
Is it okay if I call you Christy?
Yes, of course.
Christy, what do you do for a living?
I'm an assistant principal at Oxford High School.
Okay, you're going to have to keep your voice up.
Okay.
Okay. You're an assistant principal at Oxford High School, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And how long have you held that position?
That position, I just finished my 5th year in that position.
Okay.
I've been in the district. I start my 29th year on Monday.
Okay. And I still can't quite hear you.
She's been in the district for 29 years.
On Monday, I started. Yep.
Okay. And how long have you had a position in the high school?
5 years this position, this assistant principal position. Years ago, I was a teacher there.
Okay. Where were you before you came to the high school?
I was an elementary principal.
Okay. I want to get this on the record as quick as we can and address it. You actually know the defendant, correct?
I do.
Okay. And you have known him for how long?
He was a student at my elementary school, Ethan was, and
Okay, so this woman, she knew Ethan, since elementary, and then she also knew Tate Muir, because ever since Tate Muir was 3. So I didn't include all of that. I just wanted to, I don't know why I included her in the end. But she was the assistant principal, and they failed her as well. This here, I wanted to share a little bit more of the school board. That's the clips that I saved. But I wanted to share a little bit more of this meeting. But let me take a look at your poll, because these school board meetings have been going on for 2 years. And there's a lot of really interesting things, especially with the guidepost coming out and stuff. So I wanted to show you the very beginning of this meeting. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a feel of how these meetings start out.
Attendance, please.
Yep. President Schaefer.
Here.
Vice President Dr. Reese.
Present.
Secretary Summers. Here. Treasury Hanser.
Present.
Trustee McDonough.
Here.
Trustee Schultz.
Here.
And Trustee Whitney. Here. All present.
Thank you. Changes to the board agenda.
I have none.
I'd like to read a statement that the board would like to make. We all had a chance to review this and add our comments.
So this is their this is the school board before you heard those people talking. This is their statement to the parents. Let me put a little gain boost on this because she's not talking all that loud. She must not be very confident in herself, but here we go.
Comments to it.
Turn the volume up.
Hey, General. What link?
The tragedy of November 30th, 2021 shook every family in this district. Words cannot capture the profound pain and emotion that has been felt across our entire community. To all our students, our families, and staff, and especially the families and friends of Hannah and Tate and Justin and Madison, we are all deeply sorry. We can and must learn from this tragedy while helping every Oxford student continue to pursue their passion and dreams for their futures. At the same time, we also know that actions must speak louder than words. The board hired guideposts to investigate and provide a report surrounding the details of November 30th. The final report was released on October 30th. Last week, we hosted 14 listening sessions, staff, community, to hear feedback from our families and community. And we want to thank everyone who has participated and know that we are meticulously reviewing those details and requests for amendments to the report. We acknowledge that the overall success of the district begins at the highest level. As a board, we are dedicated to providing the necessary oversight to ensure adherences to policies, taking great care in selecting our next superintendent, and increasing the engagement of our valued community. We recognize that trust is the most precious asset of a district, and we are diligently working each day within our community. We are looking forward to student advisory partnerships, community dialogues, and tapping into the wealth of knowledge that our students, our parents, our staff, and our community provides to us. Together, as we continue to honor the memory of Madison, Tate, Justin, and Hannah, we are working tirelessly to create a safer and more supportive environment for our students and our staff every single day.
Keep reading, Mary, whatever your name is, Heather. Okay, so with that being said, check this out. So that was at the school board meeting, right? Well, here we are, November 21st, 2023. Obviously, things aren't changing.
These are the things that matter.
Oh, Barry Sanders. Oh, Barry Sanders. All right, so this is going to be, the students are, they literally walked out of class. Yes, Patrick, that's it in a nutshell.
Years since the Oxford High School shooting, where 4 students were killed and 7 other people were injured. Giselle Gillum, a junior, surrounded by classmates, walked out today demanding for their voices to be heard.
We're done being silenced. Enough is enough, and we are fighting back and asking for justice.
The students are also seeking action. They want the people who were named in this investigative independent report to no longer work with the district.
It's disgusting to see these people responsible for the death of my friends bleeding out in our hallways, that we have to stand in this community and know that they're walking freely, working with troubled children in the district.
These students feel their pain is being ignored and want to see better healing services and a proper memorial for Tate, Madison, Hannah, and Justin, their classmates who lost their lives.
It is beyond me why any person would have what it takes to look in the eyes of hurting, suffering students, asking for what they need to heal, and deny them.
I reached out to the superintendent's office.
That girl right there, I'm just going to say it, future leader. She is one of that generation that could make a change. Look at her. I'm proud of her.
Regarding today's We Will Be Heard rally, they did not have a statement or comment. Giselle says at the school board meetings, she feels her voice is falling on deaf ears.
Absolutely zero response. Me and Morgan stood up in the middle of the meeting and said, look in our faces, hear our stories, and walk out those doors. We said the exit's right there. Leave, resign, do what's best for the students.
These students asked the community to support them at the next Oxford School Board meeting on November 28th. Reporting in Oxford, Scott Walchek.
Pretty amazing kids, huh? Standing up for what's right. Standing up for what's right. So the next meeting brings us to not the one I showed you. Trump Georgia case hearing streaming live. Oh, guys, we might have to switch gears. Hold on.
Electors, as it relates to the 2020 election. And so those arguments do not apply.
All right, we're going to be streaming this. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I had anyways on Oxford for today. But I am going to get together. We got to watch this Trump thing, guys. Holy shit. How is this streaming? Attorneys for former President Donald Trump and several of his co-defendants will try to get a Fulton County judge to throw out charges in the Georgia 2020 election case. Fulton County Superior Court Judge John McAfee will hear a series of motions meant to poke holes in or dismiss Attorney General Fani Willis's sprawling racketeering case against Trump and the network of attorneys. This is big news. It's big news. It's important. It's important stuff. All right. So I will start a new stream. We'll watch this hearing. And I will get a stream together where we can watch some of these school board meetings, the more recent ones. I appreciate you guys tuning in today. It's a very important case to me, and I will keep you guys posted on anything new. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. We've been an hour and 40 minutes. And if you want to watch this Trump case, go ahead and stick around, hit your subscribe button. I will be back live in just a few minutes. We're going to roll our credits and dance it out, and then we will be back live. So hopefully I'll see you there. Sorry to cut it short, end it quick, but I was done. Thanks, guys. There's just always something going on, and this is so interesting to me. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye. Thank you. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
Got a hard time hearing. Do you mind pulling your microphone down and then aiming it up at your chin?